A very good evening, team, and a warm welcome to the webinar. Yeah, so a very warm welcome again to Edubex. Yes, as most of you are knowing about us, that we are an edtech industry, and here we will be holding a very, a very trending subject of online MBA, and it is handled by Dr. Manoj AS. He has got immense experience both when it comes to the academia and also the industry. So I guess you will all have a wonderful exposure with Manoj. A very warm welcome, Manoj, to EduBex.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I think I am audible as well as viewable, right?
Yes, sir. You are audible and viewable.
Yeah. So good evening, friends, and welcome to this session on empowering leaders and the MBA advantage. Basically, there can be a lot of questions which can really spurt out before we start the session, because why we do an MBA and what is the advantage? And especially in this 21st century, what is the value of doing a program like management, and how it is connected with empowering leaders? So as you know that even though we call MBA as a management program now, it's not just a management program alone. And it's creating or even empowering leaders towards securing towards the 21st century skills. And the good old days, the old stages where the MBA was budding in, especially in state of Kerala or even in India, the focus was a little bit on the traditional things like managing people or even organizing, etc. But even though now technology has taken the place, as we know that we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and the revolutions are coming very fast, coming and going very fast. And even though this IR 4.0 started in 2014, 2015, and now the world is thinking about IR 5.0. And maybe it's almost a decade when IR 4.0 started. And as you know that the world is changing very fast. And how can we transform our working professionals? How can we add value to our organizations through strategic thinking and 21st century skills? And there lies the importance of MBA as a program. I never call this as a course. This is a program. This is a thing which really takes you or gives you a different experience. I may say it's a bricolage experience which usually gives, and that is how the MBA program is taken into consideration, how it has to be visualized, right? And moving forward, when you talk about the leadership and all, and the gap we feel right now, as you know that today's organization is changing a lot, and even it's not like the previous organizations which were existing. Most of the organizations were changing, as you people may be knowing it, you are experiencing it, and there are a lot of challenges as well as opportunities. Even though we know it, when you do a SWOT analysis or when you do a TOS matrix with regard to your organization or do a scanning, we can understand the gap which exists and what are the changes we have to bring in, and how can we really focus on certain things which will take or which will gallop our organization towards the new paradigm. And the challenges which I want to share with you is like most of the organization, as I told you, like there are rapid technological changes, global competitions, the evolving workforce expectations, even the generational differences is there. As you know that the workforce is totally changing, and the traditional management approaches is no longer sufficient. And now it's time where we have to reframe the MBA program or management program as it is, and which is not just focusing on just the output alone. So earlier, when you talk about a management program, when you talk about organizations, we do have a set of organizational vision and mission, and you have objectives, you have strategies. Based on that, you give some inputs, you have a process, and finally we go for the output. That is what organizations were focusing on, and we were just focusing on the output. What is the output I have created? Now it's not just stopping there as it is. Organizations are not just focusing on the output alone. It again moving forward, like we want to see the outcome and the impact as well as the value. So there are another three important aspects after that. So it's not just we are stopping it with the output. There is something called as the outcome, the impact, and the value. That is where organizations are striving for, that such organizations can only survive. So it has to create outcomes, it has to create impact, and value creation is something which is very important. And that is where organization plays a pivotal role. And there lies a program of this nomenclature really help people to improve. So there we need leaders who have dynamic skills to navigate uncertainty, drive innovation, and foster inclusive cultures that empowers team. So there comes the real terminology. We usually say that innovation. So even if you think about management program, I may say the first focus should be on real world problem solving. All leaders should really focus on the real world problem solving, fueled with innovation. So that is what even the World Economic Forum, when they conducted this study across the world, so when they conducted this study across the world, and even the UN and the international organizations across the globe, what they have identified, or what they have observed after conducting series of studies across the globe, where they identified around 6 important skills like critical thinking, creativity, real world problem solving, innovation, communication, and collaboration, which we usually call it as a 21st century skill, which is going to really create a lot of impact in organizations. And that should be the mantra, and that should be the focus even almost all the management programs should do. And that is what the leaders should also develop. And finally what they say is like the very recent study conducted by many organizations across the globe, they identified real world problem solving at the center of, or the saddle point, the center peak, where every leader or every professional should really understand or be skilled in real world problem solving. And it's not easy to solve real world problems, and it's not easy to gain problem solving skills. At the same time, it should be contextualized, it should be a collaborative in nature, and at the same time you need fuel for solving problems, and innovation becomes the fuel for that. So there comes the innovation management as a limb in management programs, and that is what we have to do. And the innovation fuel should be charged to the human resource or the people across the globe to solve real world problems, where the 4 C's will also accompany, which will foster growth towards organization. The 4 C's are the critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. So the challenge is we have to have these dynamic skills, where we have to foster innovation, where we should equip our leaders, we should groom our leaders to be the real world problem solvers of the world. Then the opportunity and MBA program basically bridges the gap, equipping professionals with a strategic framework. We learn a lot of frameworks, the leadership capabilities, and the contemporary business acumen. That is what we gain through this program. It transforms good managers into exceptional leaders. I told you, like, we are no more we are grooming managers, we are grooming or creating exceptional leaders who can create lasting organizational impact. So impact and value creation will be the buzzword for the organizations for tomorrow. And why working professionals use MBA? Basically, they even if you ask this question to many of the people who are working in organizations, they usually say that there is something called as career acceleration, fast track to path to senior leadership roles and executive positions. The career acceleration and the career advancement is there. Then the skill enhancements. So as you know that learn, unlearn, and relearn is a buzzword right now, because many things we learned earlier, even 20 years back, many things which we learned, we have to unlearn. It's not just unlearning practice as it is, but we have to relearn with new skills. Then only we will be relevant. At the same time, we can become important as well. And skill enhancement, then develop cutting edge capabilities aligned with industry demands, professional network built, valuable relationship with peers, mentors, and industry leaders. Then competitive edge, stand out in the marketplace with recognized credentials and expertise. This always carries a competitive edge. This can be the reason why most of the working professionals may choose. There can be other reasons, but these are some of the pressing or even most important reasons, so standout reasons why they choose MBA as a program. What makes the 21st century different? So as you know, that's a globalization, not only in terms of business processes, systems, which operates across borders, acquiring cultural intelligence and adaptability, digital disruption happening everywhere. Technology transforms industries overnight, demanding continuous learning. And as you know, that it becomes a challenge. And even if usually I may say that earlier when we learn something, we usually focus on three different types of skill acquisition. One is the cognitive domain. We try to improve the cognitive domain, that is the cognitive skills. Then we do have these psychomotor skills which we develop, and the affirmative domain or the affirmative skills. So this usually combines together where we create a taxonomy of learning, and which we have two levels of learning, the higher order and the lower order. So what we have done so far is like the lower order thinking, like, or lower order learning things where you understand, you remember, you learn, and you try to apply. That's what we done. But when you go to the next order, second order, we try to analyze, understand whatever you have applied. You try to analyze it. We try to synthesize, we create and synthesize something new, which is the second order thinking. So basically nowadays, even I may say people we usually say that higher order thinking skills. But right now, this type of program should not just even stop there. We should even unleash and understand the next order, because that type of digital disruption is happening, and most of the things which we think even machines can also think. And that's the line in which the technology as well as the research in technological area is happening across the world. And then about the rapid change, the market shift quickly, acquiring agile decision making and strategic thinking, then diverse workforce. We work with different people across the globe. As at the same time, even if in our team we have multi-generational people, multicultural teams and there are inclusive leadership approaches which is required. We should be interdisciplinary at the same time. We should be inclusive also. Then only we can able to run or go along with the team. So these are some of the challenges, even though it makes a different context in 21st century organization, but these are some of the challenges which you have to face. The 21st century skills, as I told you, it's imperative in today's business environment. That is what the environment demands. More technical expertise, leaders must adapt, adaptive thinking, digital fluency, emotional intelligence, and the ability to lead through complexity and change. So there are most of the organizations are very complex in nature because of the changing trends, and at the same time, change is it is inevitable. Even though we talk about this change even from earlier time onwards, when Kurt Lewin, one of the change evangelists, talks about change management, but still now it has a lot of relevance. And MBA programs are evolving to prioritize these essential competencies. And most of the times, sometimes what we usually do is programs of this nomenclature like management should not be just learning some of the tacit knowledge, learnings through rote and just doing something. No, whatever we learn is we should learn certain tools and techniques, because we are grooming ourselves. We are really sharpening our weapons to really face those challenges. That is the beauty of a program like management, which can really help people to face the challenges and take organization forward, as well as you can grow forward with respect to your individual competencies too. The core 21st century leadership skills, when you talk about the critical thinking, your ability to analyze complex problems, make data-driven decisions. As you know, data becomes very important right now. It's a fuel right now, and as you know that it's the most valuable thing. And most of the conclusions, most of the interpretations, everything, decisions are taken based on data. And now we do have a lot of mechanisms for that, and where AI and ML and deep learning also plays a vital role, and they use this data in doing this. And as we all know that, so analyze complex problems. So the way it has to be think or thought should be come from a human being. So that's what I said. So even most of the studies conducted by the international organization, they say that even though we do have machines, technology taking most of our jobs, but at the same time there are certain core skills which has to be done by the human being. It's a critical thinking. So your competency, your capability in analyzing complex problems and make data-driven decisions. And at least we have to power our machines or even technologies to take decisions. So that type of thinking has to be there. Then digital fluency, leveraging technology, understanding digital transformation, collaboration. Right now, even though we do have mechanisms to collaborate, at the same time, are we collaborating, using it effectively? That's very important. We do have a lot of collaborative platforms. Are we using it? There are cross-functional teams effectively. Very recently, there was a study conducted by the Harvard Business Review, and it says that the percentage of collaboration, most of the organization in US, is coming down, even though we have a lot of mechanism. But fruitful collaborations are not happening, and these collaborations are not leveraging any value. So that should not happen. So even if we have to, we should be capable of using it effectively so that these collaborations can fetch you the right result, and it can also add value to you. Emotional intelligence, and one of the most important thing, as we all know, is not just the IQ, the emotional intelligence, your ability to understand others' feelings. At the same time, how you are empathetic about it. Even whatever, even you create a product, a processor, a system, whatever, even big organizations do, they use this emotional intelligence, and they will be empathetic enough to understand what the stakeholder requires and what is their expectation. Based on that, usually companies also create products and services across the globe. So understand and motivate people authentically, and finally, adaptability, navigate change and embrace innovation continuously. I am talking about innovation every time because that is where our focus should be, and that is where the leaders can become different and unique with respect to other leaders. And the leaders across the globe right now who are leading the organization, from the front, you can see that the only thing which makes them different is the innovation quotient plus their ability to solve real world problems. 6 core skill sets for modern leaders. That is what even the MBA programs are uniquely designed. And because when you talk about skills, there are plenty of skills, but for leaders to be created, the 6 core important skills, like the critical thinking, I told you, the critical thinking, the creativity, the real world problem solving, innovation, communication, and collaboration. And this is the most detrimental skills which makes leaders different from others. And the leaders with these 6 skill sets is going to really rule this world, which is in coming years. And then about the strategic thinking and decision making, how the leaders can take strategic decisions, and they can think differently. And majority of the management programs, even unfortunately, some of our B schools or schools across Kerala or even in India, sometimes they miss the best, because that's a difference where the tier 1 schools or even the international, some of the international B schools were focusing on, and they really focus on equipping students towards innovation, towards solving real world issues, create a culture of collaboration, teamwork, etc. And so this will really help people to use certain tools and techniques. So management as a program is bundled with plenty of tools. If you take marketing, if you take sales, if you take HR, if you take operations, it's bundled with plenty of tools. We are equipping our people to use those tools effectively and efficiently in solving problems. So I have just put some of the frameworks, like the Porter's 5 forces. So the Porter's 5 forces, basically most of the organizations, they use this to understand the how the organization moves. Like when you talk about the Porter's 5 forces, there are 5 forces with regard to that. Basically, they talk about the threats of new entrants. When you take a business, even if I run a business, what are the threat I may face if a new entry comes into it? Then the threat of substitute products and services, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, competitive rivalry, all comes into the picture. Then we do this SWOT analysis, the strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, and the tools matrix. Basically, we try to create, as you know, the strengths and weakness of an organization or even any enterprise. Basically, those are internal factors. Opportunities and threats are the external factors, how you can create strategies. So why I say is these are all some of the strategic tools, and leaders should be able to use strategic thinking and make conducive decisions. Else, you cannot become leaders who can create impact. And SWOT analysis and tools matrix are the tools we use. We use the environmental scanning techniques like pestle analysis, like politically, economically, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors, how it affects businesses and all. And you all know about the red ocean, blue ocean, and black ocean strategies. Blue ocean strategy is nothing but where there is very little or not much of competition. where there are a lot of untapped market into it. You can just get into the market, understand where innovation plays a vital role. So good leaders, they use this blue ocean strategy to tap new markets, come up with some new products and services, use their innovation quotient in solving problems. And so that's what I said. So case studies from real world scenarios, these all really helps to provide, or this program will really help to equip you with those skill sets, which will take you to the next level leaders. Digital transformation leaders, as we know, that's not just a normal leadership right now, as we all are in the world of digital transformation, which is happening right now. Technology integration, understanding AI, cloud, and emerging technologies, data-driven culture everywhere. We talk everything based on the data. So almost all the organization, they do have a culture of data-driven, where even if when you talk about performance appraisal, earlier performance, the old traditional methods of performance appraisals were all human-based, one-to-one, man-to-man comparison methods, ranking methods, where now we have the balanced scorecard method, and even there are AI tools which can be used, where we use sensitive analysis and all data-driven approaches, which can really help to understand the performance of each and every employee, which will be devoid of bias. And we can understand the real performance of each and every employee. And about digital innovation, creating competitive advantage through technology. So in the era where digital transformation determines competitive advantage, I may say MBA graduates learn to lead technological change. It's not, earlier it was not like that. Now they learn to lead technological change, implement data analytics, foster innovation cultures, and keep organization ahead. I may say these are the three mantras, according to me, where the MBA should take charge, and they should transform or even groom people for tomorrow. So it's how they can lead and lead the technology or bring technological change, implement data analytics so that the data-driven decisions can be taken, and the foster a culture of innovation and real-world problems. So that is what is going to make the change. Building high performance teams and exceptional leaders knows organization success, and we have plenty of examples. And basically management program really helps you to learn all these things. And when you talk about management, earlier we all learned about different management definitions, which will not work right now. Even if you ask me what is the real essence of management, man, age, and ment, if you divide the word into three parts, man, age, and ment. Man means human beings, age means the experience, ment means mentoring human beings through experience. That is where you create a culture of excellence. That is how the world of management is going to make a change, and that is what we are all looking for. And that is something which organizations or even institutions should also focus. That is what organizations expect out of each and every employee who is joining their team. So, and learn conflict resolutions, as you know, wherever human beings are there, conflicts will be there. So it's very important we should learn how to resolve conflicts, performance management, coaching techniques, and unlock your team's full potential. It's very important. We cannot say that people are having lack of skill sets. It's the ability of the organization and the leaders to understand, churn out the right core competency of each and every employee, and groom them for a higher performance. And that is where organization really reaches the stage of excellence. And the financial acumen for leaders, the financial statement analysis, maybe earlier we do have a lot of specializations on that, but still, apart from all these things, that financial acumen for leaders is very important. When you talk about the 5 M's in management, the man, money, mission, materials, methods, where after man is the money. So the financial aspect is very important. The able to interpret balance sheets, income statements, cash flows to assess organizational health, strategic investment decisions. That is where the leaders plays a vital role. Then about budgeting, forecasting, developing realistic financial plans, align the strategic objectives of the organization, allocating resources effectively across departments and initiatives. There are plenty of examples, even I can share with you. I was been involved in some of the organization. The downfall of many organizations. There were cases where downfall of many organizations. I don't want to name the organization as it is. Majority of people is just because of the change in leadership and the lack of financial acumen the leader possesses. Then finally, I told you about the value creation. So the end part of almost every organization, every human being, I may say, it's not just the output, the outcome, impact, and the value creation. Understand how business decisions impact stakeholders, the value, profitability, long-term sustainability, growth, and the growth for the stakeholders. The value creation part is very important. It's not just value creation; it's value creation and value capture, which organizations should focus on. That is what the role of leaders as it is. Then the global business perspective, think beyond the borders. As we know, most of the programs, this management program really provides an international exposure through global case studies, diverse cohorts, cross-cultural business framework, understanding emerging market. The market is different, based, as I told you, like based on the environment, based on the management, based on the milieu, based on the cultural factors. There are a lot of differences. So it has to be understood by the leader. We should know how to scan the environment accordingly and take business decisions, navigate cultural differences in leadership, develop global supply chain strategies, and lead multinational teams effectively. As we know, as we are a leader, it's very important that we should learn how to manage people effectively, because as I told you, it's not just the cultural difference alone. Even there are generational differences who may be in your team, where you should learn how to manage different people so that you can take your team effectively towards the organizational objectives. And the innovation and entrepreneurial mindset, sometimes you may ask, why, even I am working somewhere, why should I need an entrepreneurial mindset? If you ask me, I may say that even if you want to become accountable in an organization, that entrepreneurial mindset is important. We may call it as entrepreneurship also, but still entrepreneurial mindset is something which can really build an accountability acumen in everybody. So innovation is an important factor along with this entrepreneurial mindset. So where the tools like design thinking, the lean methodologies, and entrepreneurship plays a vital role. So design thinking is an important tool. It's a human-centered approach to solve complex problems, and which will also helps to create customer value. So value creation is only possible where tools like design thinking is used. Then lean methodologies implement agile framework. I told you, like we are living in a very fast changing world where this agile framework plays a vital role, and it should be we reduce waste. That's a lean management talks about waste reduction. Then accelerate time to market and respond quickly. When you talk about implementing of projects, there are four important aspects in project management. One is the scope, one is the cost, then the time, and the quality. So these are the four important elements which plays a vital role. So if you want to have your projects in line, where you make it effectively implement those things, the scope of the project is important, the time which is being taken for completing that is important, then about the quality as well as the cost. So these are the four aspects which we needs to really maneuver so that you can effectively complete business tasks. Then entrepreneurship, I told you, like drive innovation within established organizations, building business cases and securing resources for new initiatives. There are people who do work inside the organization. At the same time, they do ignite their entrepreneurship along with that by inculcating their innovation quotient into it, creating something of their own, where they may create their own intellectual properties, which will be collaborated with their organization, where they become a part of that organizational leading team, or sometimes they may get into their own entrepreneurship also. So it depends upon, this is how it depends upon the changing mindset of the people. That is how most of the new generation organizations evolved right now, or took birth because of this. Then communication, as I told you, like communication is leadership. I don't want to really explain more on communication because you all know about it, but still, the master the arts of persuasive communication, from boardrooms to presentation, stakeholder negotiation. So basically, even though we talk about communication, why we need communication? When you talk about communication, we say that communication came from a Latin word communis, means common. But even if I am a good communicator, it should not set by us. Basically, when you communicate something, some idea to many people, uh, any complex things when you share. So the point I want to make is, you work in an organization and you do a lot of some work, and you come back to your home. Even if you have a mom with you, or even an old age person with you, or even a senior guy in your home, even if you can explain what you do in an organization, if they understand, I may say that you are a good communicator. So where can you able to convince, can you able to inspire, can you able to influence people? That's the most important aspects of communication. It's not just using jargons, the flashy words you use, or the accent you use, but can you able to convince people? Can you inspire, influence, and inspire action? So that's the example I said. So even if many complex things, if you can really articulate to normal people, and if they understand what you do, then I may say we are the best communicator. Even usually in our government circles also, usually when we have discussions, I say if government does something, it can be it can be very innovative, complex project. And if a normal guy, a normal citizen, if a government or the authority can explain it beautifully, clearly, candidly to that person, and if that person understands what government does, basically you're doing justification to the communication. That should be the power of communication. And the MBA learning experience, this is what I expect, and this is what you have to get as a part of your management learning experience. It should be interactive coursework, real world projects, peer-to-peer learning, because earlier we don't give that much of importance to peer learning, but now it has to be peer learning. Many things can be peer learned, exchange insight with accomplished professionals, diverse industries and backgrounds. Then about mentorship, mentoring and hand-holding is an important thing. There are people with different experiences where they can give you guidances, mentorship and hand-holding, where that will really help you to gain experience. And finally the continuous growth. So you can join some of the networks which provides lifelong learning. You all know about LLL. So lifelong learning, which will really helps you to have a developed career, and it also gives you opportunities for your next phase of your professional journey too. So that is the beautiful experience you get out of this management program. Impact on organizational growth, as you know that it's not just a couple of things. This is based on the research, and it says that strategic planning, team productivity, innovation rate, employee engagement, and revenue growth. And these are the 5 important elements. There are other elements, and these are the foremost elements which really creates, or the matrix. These are the 5 important elements in that matrix which foster organizational growth, which can create organizations of value across the globe, and they can create lasting impression also. And these are the 5 important elements out of that. And the critical thinking, I told you, like there are the 6 important skills about critical thinking, how it can be connected with the management or the leaders. Basically, all these skills were earlier concerned as or something related with science, technology, or even engineering. But now it says that this 21st century skills is for everybody. It cannot be for, or the management program is, or this type of tools and techniques is only not for engineering, technology, or even science graduate. It's for liberal arts, or even social science. People can also learn, and they can also use this. They can also develop this, because as I told you, like when you talk about leadership, when you talk about innovation, when you talk about 21st century skills, nothing is going to be a silos activity. When you are in an organization, you are in a team, you are in a group, or where you collaboratively as a team, you work together towards solving problems, right? And the critical thinking, the foundations of sound decisions. So it's the ability to analyze, I told you, like informatively, objectively, question assumptions, make evidence-based decisions. If you have some data with you, you should really dive deep into the problems, understand the problems in depth, where you require this critical thinking. So for programs, for management program, we do have case study analysis, which really helps to improve your critical thinking, data-driven decision making, quantitative reasonings, and strategy framework. All this really helps to improve your critical thinking. Then how MBAs build their critical thinking, analyze complex scenarios, examine real business cases from multiple perspectives, identifying root cause and hidden variables. So in tier 1 institutions like IIMs and all, basically they take case studies, the real case studies from organizations, give it to the students there, ask them to really analyze it, understand it, clinically analyze with respect to what they have learned, and finally come up with solutions where they can able to really apply, so that they can bring sustainable solutions to solve such real world issues. Then evaluate trades-off, weigh competing priorities as risk versus rewards, and understand opportunity cost, and as well as synthesize solutions. Synthesizing solutions is the most important thing out of this. First, you analyze, understand the problem. Why most of the organizations fail? They fail to understand 80% of the problems. It's based on the survey. study conducted by Harvard University. They say that 80% of the organizations, 80% of the products fail, systems fail. It's because of the poor understanding of what is required, what the stakeholder require. And most of the times what we do is they understand something, they create or synthesize solutions which will not fit to their requirements. So that is very important. So when you synthesize solutions, you need critical thinking. So synthesizing solution is a part of creativity, but unless and until if you are not analyzing complex solutions, complex scenarios, complex problems, decode it, dive deep into the solution statements, problem statements, you cannot come to a sustainable solution. And then the second is about creativity, breaking through the conventional boundaries. As you know, you think out of the box, and programs like management really helps you to think out of the box using certain structured framework, and where you transform your abstract ideas into valuable business opportunities, like design thinking workshops, entrepreneurship projects, cross-functional collaborations, all these things done as a group, as a team, where this design thinking as a tool will really help you to unleash your creativity, understanding problems in depth, use tools and techniques to create human-centered solutions to the problems, which can create impact and value. So that is how. So once you use that, that will really help you to unleash or even evolve some of the entrepreneurship projects. That will help you to become an entrepreneur, so that you can come up with an innovative idea, and that will really help you to create your own enterprise. And finally, cross-functional collaboration. You should work with diverse teams. Even if I have an idea, even if I want to do something inside the organization, outside the organization, it's very important that you should meet with stakeholders, collaborate with different stakeholders. That's the reason why when you talk about management, when you talk about innovation, I may say it's interdisciplinary, it's inclusive, it's collaborative, it's contextual. So whatever you do, it should be collaborative, it should be contextualized, it is interdisciplinary, and it is inclusive. It's not only for a separate group of people, it's for everybody. We have to include almost all the different category of people. So real world problem solving from theory to practice. Basically the management program, which is the gap between classrooms and concepts. So unfortunately, just for your curiosity, even if when you learn many things, even in our school days, we learn many things. Even our children learn many concepts in their school days. Like they learn, for example, they learn photosynthesis as a concept in biology. Then they learn thermodynamics, laws of thermodynamics in physics. And then they learn enthalpy, entropy in chemistry. But why they learn that? So we all know that we learn photosynthesis as a process where the plants use sunlight and they prepare foods, and finally it creates glucose, as well as they evolve. They also create oxygen. So through that, the oxygen is coming out. And even though, as you know, that basically the energy conservation is happening there. So the conservation of energy, the first law of thermodynamics, which we learn in the physics, is applied there. At the same time, there is a change in the system, the enthalpy and the entropy as a concept is applying there. And at the same time, the third law, the next law of thermodynamics also is applied, and it's an exothermic as well as an endothermic reactions are happening, which is learned in the chemistry. So most of the teachers or people learn all this concept differently, and even if they want to apply it, they want to really solve a problem, they don't know the connection between us. So the same thing, I just quote some example. Even if when you learn management, it's not just now it's a world of specializations, micro specialization, nano specializations. Even though you can go for such specialization, it's very important. A comprehensive picture of the whole management has to be learned. The organization has to be learned. When you work in an organization, you should know the basic things of finance. You should understand the basic things in operation. You should understand the basic things in supply chain. You should understand the basic things in HR. Then only you can solve real world problems, because education is very important. You may be an expert in some of the area, but it's very important that these concepts and its practical application is very important, and you should learn how to apply those concepts. So that's MBA advantage. Unlike theoretical programs, MBA curriculum is important problem solving in an authentic context where stakes, constraints, and ambiguity mirror reality. That is where live consulting projects, simulations, and competition plays a vital role. So when you talk about
Can you?
programming, real world problem solving, you know that we all works in a simulated environment. We give a lot of issues, we give a lot of problem statements in a simulated environment. Suppose if this environment comes, now it's not just simulations, now it is contextualized. So most of the problems or most of the situations are contextualized, where we try to give contextualized situations to the students, to the people, where they apply whatever they have learned. It's the culmination of both the practical as well as the conceptual will plays a vital role in solving problems. That is where real world problem solving becomes a important paradigm or important element in for managers across or leaders across the globe. Then innovation, I told you, like transforming ideas into impact. Earlier, most of the people may think I am a managing graduate, I am just managing or leading the whole organization. Why should I be an innovator? But as I told you, like the innovation element should be there everywhere. You as a leader, they have to identify an opportunity. Unless and until if you don't have that innovative mindset, you cannot identify the opportunities. Why most of the organizations fail? Because the leaders fail to understand the opportunity, spot market gaps, unmet customer needs, develop concepts, design innovative solutions, new business models. There are plenty of examples, right? Even the Ubers, the Olas of the world, the Lyft of the world, all are because those are all innovative business concepts and models. Then test and iterate and validate assumptions to rapid prototypings and scalable solutions bring innovations to market successfully. So basically, as a leader, I may say, it's not innovations are not for engineers or technocrats. Even for every field, every domain, innovation plays a vital role with respect to what that domain expect or demands. Then about the innovation in action, I may say, as the management aspirants, very important that you have to really have this innovative mindset where you want to do something. It's not inside the organization, even outside the organization, launch something different, even if to become an entrepreneur or to become an entrepreneur, so that your life can add value to the society. Then the communication, then the currency of leadership, I told you, like written communication, verbal presentation, digital literacy. And right now, basically, people lament and say that we have a lot of tools and there is no need for learning communication. I don't know, fine, fair enough. But at the same time, you should have your own craft in persuasive report writings, proposals, strategic documents. At the same time, your presentations, the compelling pitches, the lead, how you lead meeting, captivating meetings and all. And digital literacy is very important. Navigate virtual platform. There are a lot of tools which can be used, which can be cuddled or which can be clubbed with your communication to make it more impactful and effective. And why communication matters more than ever? Because the Fortune 500 executives communication skill consistently ranks as the most crucial factor. This is based on the survey. And leaders spend up to 80% of the time communicating through emails, presentation, negotiation. Even though we do have mechanisms, we do have tools, we have AI tools right now, we are in the world of AI, but still, it's very important that there are certain fundamental things. At least we should have the design inside us. We should have that innovative framework inside us to create how you create it. It's based on, even though we talk about prompt engineering and all, but the prompt is with the human being. So that is based on the quotient we possess, we have. Then the last one is about the collaboration. So I talked about critical thinking, creativity, then about innovate, real world problem solving, innovation, communication, and last collaboration. Achieving more together. Modern business challenges are too complex, I told you. So success requires orchestrating diverse talents towards a common goal. How you orchestrate, how you maneuver all these people together towards a common goal. Form teams, build trust, and establish shared objectives. It's not easy to build trust, and it's a very tough job. So when you talk about all these things, I don't know whether you learned about a person called as John C. Maxwell. And John C. Maxwell is one of the management gurus. And what he talks about it is like, if you get time, you should read the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, written by John C. Maxwell. And he talks about around 21 rules what leaders has to do, starting with the law of the lid, about the law of magnetism, the law of addiction, the law of navigation, the law of intuition, law of influence, etc. We get time, just get into it. So that will really gives you the power of a leader, right? And he was talking about it. And unless and until if a leader becomes a leader, if he can able to really form teams and move along with the teams. Exchange ideas, share perspectives, and challenge assumptions. So it's only through collaboration, because even if you have an innovative mindset, if you want to bring something new to your organization, something new to you, it's very important that you have to continuously exchange ideas, because any ideas can come from anybody, and deliver results. Execute collaboratively is not just for the sake of collaboration. Right now we do have platforms, I told you earlier, but it's not valuable. So it has to deliver result. It should be impactful. And finally, integrate inputs, synthesized contributions into coherent solutions. So when you are in a team, work together, you collaborate, and at the end of the day, the impact is how will you bring in solutions, how will you create value in solving issues and problems. The collaboration experience, I may say, you have diverse cohorts, team projects, and network building. That is the beauty of this program. Even if you want to join, if you do this program, you are with diverse cohorts alongside with professionals, various industries, functionaries, and cultural backgrounds. Then there can be a lot of team projects, manage group dynamics, delegate tasks, navigate conflicts and constructively. Network building, that's something which is very important. Creating network is something which is very important. When you talk about leader as a word, terminology, L stands for liberate. It's the ability you to liberate something, evolve something of your own. E stands for encourage. You should encourage others. Then A stands for achieve purpose. Unless and until there is no purpose, there's no value or room for a leader. Then D means develop teams. It's the ability to develop teams. Then E means example setting. The leader should set as an example. And finally, R means relationship making. So that is where networks plays a vital role. So this is how these skills are interconnected. So even if you ask me the value of the program of this nomenclature, where the 4 C's along with innovation and problem solving. So the communication, critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, innovation, problem solving, all will play a vital role, and that is going to be the skill for the skills for the future, and that is what is going to create new organizations. So beyond individual skills, the advantage you will get is like a structured learning environment. So you'll get a chance to really guide with a lot of pedagogical methods, cutting edge research, people with different domain skills, peer learning network. I told you, industry connections, credibility and recognition. So that is also there for this program. And finally, why I want to do this is like, finally, as I told you, like we try to bring what is called the change management, where in today's dynamic business environment, the ability to lead change is something very important. And a real management professional can really create that using frameworks, tools, and techniques. They should overcome resistance, communicate effectively, and during transitions, create sustainable change, where you can bring in solutions using your innovative mindset, and which can create improved performance and maintaining employee engagement and create a new conducive organizational culture. And the ethical leadership, because even though we talk about all these things, ethicality is very important, and sustainability is also important. So the leader should be ethically correct as well as sustainable. Corporate governance, where you understand the responsibilities, compliance requirements, stakeholder management, and the accountability. At the same time, sustainable business develop strategies that balance profit. So whatever you do should be sustainable enough. And finally, ethical decision making. So navigate complex. So morality is also very important. So ethicality and morality is very important, along with legality. And there are frameworks and fairness, integrity, organization, moving with organizational values always plays a vital role. All these things which you learn through this program, really that will adds an extra edge to your profession as well. So networking, your lifelong asset, as I told you, building strategic relationship. And for management programs, even managers and leaders, this is what they usually do. It's creating powerful network, peers, faculty, alumni, industry leaders who become collaborators, mentors, partners throughout the career. There are plenty of examples how these connects have created or helped many people in creating a meaningful life. And cohorts of ambitious professionals, alumni network across industries, faculty with industrial connections, access to exclusive events and forums. My own experience, because of this network alone, I have gained a lot of importance, a lot of intangible assets. I may say it's not just tangible assets, intangible assets really helped in my journey towards professional journey towards excellence. So that is how this Networks plays a vital role. And there are a lot, I am not getting into the focus area, but as I told you, as a professional, it's very important. You should have a comprehensive knowledge, at least a base foundation knowledge about the core business acumens, the aspects like the finance, the analytics, the marketing, the strategy, these operations, the supply chain, as well as the human resource of organization. Because basically speaking, the 5 M's. And your journey starts now. So you do a self-assessment, evaluate your career goals, do a TOS matrix, SWOT analysis of you. So what you have to do is you all create a SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, your internal things, the opportunities and threats. Then you create your TOS matrix where what are the strengths which will gives you the opportunities? What are the weaknesses which can hamper your opportunities? How can you mitigate? Create a strategy out of that. What are the strengths which becomes your threats? Sometimes strengths can be threats too, and some of the strengths can also be threats to, opportunities too. So this you have to really find it out. So create a matrix, create a analysis of yourself, then do create a self-assessment where you stand. Then research programs, compare institutions, specialization formats. As you know that right now there are a lot of studies on this. You will understand which has a lot of importance and relevance, and connect with the alumni, connect with the experts, understand the importance of it. Then you apply and do this program and empower your leadership journey. The MBA Advantage, as a management professional, I should really share with you. The 21st century skills, leadership skills is very important. It's a program which can really open doors, open the vistas for you to learn this, acquire this, drive organizational growth and innovation, accelerate your career trajectory, building lasting professional network, create meaningful impact. So as you know that transformation is very important. As a person, can I bring societal transformation? It's not just creating profit alone. Gone are the days where organization only sustain because of creating profit. No. Now the world across, the organization across the world, they think about value addition, impact, as well as creating value to society. So bringing transformation where they create impact and add value to society. And that should be what organizations are striving for. That is what organizations look for. That should be the mantra for the professionals too. And that is what organizations look for, getting people and people with that acumen. And that is how you can empower yourself. So empowering yourself to lead the future, that should I say. So the 21st century needs leaders who can think critically, create boldly, solve problems effectively, innovate constantly, communicate powerfully, and collaborate authentically. And that is what that should be the end statement from my side. So the 21st century leaders, they should think critically, create boldly, solve problems effectively, innovate constantly, communicate powerfully, and collaborate authentically. And that should be the way you can empower yourself. That is how you can lead your future. So thank you for your patient listening. Now, if you have any questions, I am happy to take the questions. Yes. Complete silence. Nothing coming from anybody.
Please share your questions if you have any, and Dr. Manoj will be happy to answer that for you. Anyone? Okay, fine. So thanks a lot, Manoj, for the wonderful session.
But at the same time, see, I have a question. If you don't have a question, I should ask some question, right?
Okay, fine.
So I don't know about the profiles or even the domains in which people have joined this program. I mean, joined this call. But what is the ultimate what is the ultimate transformation or the change as professionals somebody wants to bring in, if you inside or even outside the organization? And what is your thought on building the new organizational or building a transformative organization in this 21st century? Even if anybody have any problem in unmuting and talking to me, you can just type in the message column.
I guess they had wonderful presentation from you, Manoj. And so please respond, team. Like if you have any kind of doubts or challenges you want to discuss now, please do that. Fine, fine. So if you have any, if you want to discuss any real life challenges or, the scenario you're facing, or like I rightly said, communication is leadership, maybe an expansion of the thought. Anything you can please discuss now. Please take this as a chance and to meet Dr. Manoj.
Okay, thank you all. Hope I don't think that I have given you a lot of gyan and all, because in an hour I just shared something which came to my mind, and so it's not a small area or a small domain part, right? So there are plenty of experiential things inside this, which I don't know whether when
It's
we,
a vast topic, yes.
yeah, it's a vast area. So when we get some time, we can able to share more.